Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you and welcome to the grand finale. Welcome to the 15th and final stage here on GCTV. My name is Mark Lewis and I am absolutely honored to be able to bring you, along with this incredible team that we have, this 15th and final stage, this 15th and final story to this 2023 season as we bring the curtain down on the Global Champions League today. We are officially in Riyadh. The city is beaming, the sun is beaming, and we are ready for today's competition. There is a lot to come. We will take you through absolutely everything throughout the rest of the afternoon between now and tonight to see who will be crowned champion and to find out who then makes up that final fourth position. At first though, for now, let's catch up with the local, let's find out where we are and what makes it being special in Riyadh.
Welcome to Riyadh, the capital city of Saudi Arabia and our location for the final. Abdullah Rahman alongside me now, one of our riders for Riyadh Blue. Talk to me about Riyadh. This is your hometown. What's your favourite part about it?
Honestly, it's such a great opportunity to have the pleasure to ride in front of your home crowd, especially that they've been following me far away the whole season. And then when it comes to the final, they have the opportunity to come and watch it. Honestly, it has a very good side to be in front of them, but at the same time, it put me in a lot of pressure. So hopefully that I can do my best and make them happy.
I'm sure you will. Riyadh is a city though. Tell me about Riyadh. What do you love about it?
Honestly, like so many things, I cannot say it all because otherwise I'll spend so much time. But of course, Riyadh is the capital of Saudi Arabia, and if you want to discover Riyadh, you can spend months to finish everything, like entertainment, restaurants, facilities. Honestly, I'm from Riyadh, and I did not discover Riyadh properly yet.
Talk to me about this then.
What is this? Our Saudi coffee. It's one of the traditional stuff we have, and this is the dates also. It's very well known that we have the best Saudi coffee because it is Saudi coffee and best date.
Oh, come on, that's delicious.
Yes, it is.
That's absolutely delicious. I tell you what, let's go. We don't need to be here. We'll stick with our coffee and our dates. Bye.
Thank you so much to Abdul Rahman Araji being able to just show us a little bit around as a local guy, to talk to us about being in Saudi, what makes it special, why it is so great to be here for the 15th and final stage. And also Rosie Tapner getting a little bit of a taste of Saudi Arabia. We'll catch up with her a little bit later on as well today. In fact, a lot to come from Rosie, a lot to come from Frederick de Backer as well as we get ready for this big decider today. But let's talk about what it is that we're going to be bringing you today, because this is the big conversation. What will we deliver for you today? A championship decider, that is for sure. Two record-breaking teams taking one final shot at glory for this Global Champions League title in 2023. But also, very importantly, we wrap up that battle for fourth. We wrap up that battle for a GCL Super Cup semi-final spot. Stockholm Hearts up against Saint-Tropez Pirates, who then will get themselves into that semi-final at the GC Prague playoffs later on next month. Of course, we're going to talk about how we got here. Let's remind you of the table and show you what it looks like now, because this is what is crucially important for us in this final day. To talk about how it looks at the bottom part of the table. And in case you're wondering and thinking that maybe the bottom half of the table is not important, need I remind you that the bottom half of the table will still dictate the starting order. The starting order for the GCL Super Cup quarter-final. Because if you finish in last place, you will be the first team to go in the GCL Super Cup quarter-finals. So even though you do not get into the semi, it is crucially important to finish as high as you can to get a better starting position in the GCL Super Cup quarter-final. So in case you think, well, you're outside the top four, it doesn't matter. There is a lot still up for grabs for those teams in the bottom half of the table. But of course, the championship will be decided today. That top four will be decided today. As I hear the bell go, as I hear the ring, and the riders will now make their way in for the coursewalk. Important to know. The championship, as we say, will be decided today. Again, Rosie Tapner will join us later and give us some indication as what is required for the Paris Panthers to overtake Razorback International. And of course, for Stockholm Hearts to overtake Saint-Tropez Pirates, what will be required. First, before we get into any of those conversations, let's remind you how we got here.
And look at the pace of Weishaupt. It is absolutely brilliant. It's really, really quick, beating Saint-Tropez Pirates by a second and a half. What a great team performance.
Can he make that inside turn work? Oh, and with that, he gets the back rail. He really had to work for the inside turn. Lands on the back rail. Does it again. He's on 8 now. It is the win for Madrid in Motion. It is second place for Prague Live. And so Daniel Loiser is now the last man to go. Oh, Daniel. He's okay. There is your feeling. It is Paris Panthers winning. It's New York Empire now leading from hand to hand, an Empire on top. And New York Empire win their first stage since Valkenswaard 2019. The lead is coming their way. Riesebeck International, powered by Kingsland, take the lead here. The stadium is going to explode if he pulls this off. Peter Fredriksson with Hansen W. Back-to-back wins. He does it! He does it! Stockholm House, powered by H&M, win on home ground in exceptional fashion and style. Simon Delestre rides for another podium. Oh, can you believe that? It is a victory for Riesebeck International. Rides out and does not put him through it. It is the elimination of Stockholm Heart. Harry Smulders for the Paris Panthers, and it is a podium finish indeed. It is podium number 6 for Paris Panthers. With the pressure mounting now, it is a double clear. Paris Panthers that close in on Riesebeck on the championship standings.
He should be there. They look like they're quick enough. Peter Fredriksson has just won the Global Champions League in London for the Stockholm Hearts. Second place to Madrid in Motion.
Saint-Tropez with their first win. Paris finished third. Riesebeck drops massively. And another one. 8 the score for Kuku. 20 in round 2. Good. Here's Bisquetta. Here's Kraut. Wow. Paris Panthers come second. Madrid win.
A wonderful look back as to what has taken place over the 2023 season thus far in the Global Champions League, and fantastically so. It comes down to the final day. Storytelling at its absolute best, that we come down to the final day of the season for the top 4 battle to be decided and for that championship battle to be decided. And now with Prague just a couple of weeks away, we need to remind you why it is so important to finish inside that top 4. What is at stake? What does it then mean for the riders? Because if you get inside that top 4, let's remind you, you will not be jumping a GCL Super Cup quarter-final. You have the night off. You get to rest. 1 round less jumping for you, your horse, and that combination. That is a wonderful luxury to be awarded after a good season of jumping. But let's talk more about who may well be in, who may well be out. Rosie Tapner joins us live in studio. Rosie, as we sit in the Saudi sun, let's talk about this GCL Super Cup semi-final. Let's talk about this fight for top 4. Stockholm Hearts versus Saint-Tropez Pirates. Let's talk about who is here, who do they bring, who have they decided to give the pressure to make this challenge theirs.
Yeah, as you said, it's super this stage now, and it is the final stage before Prague. They are all fighting for that top 4 spot. And they've both brought some of their best people as well. We know Stockholm Hearts, they've got Olivier Philipparts and Peter Fredriksson with some
very successful.
They won in Stockholm, they won in London as a pair as well. I spoke to Olivier earlier, which we'll see later, but he was so thrilled to have Peter back again. They are an absolute A-team, so they are leaving nothing out here. But Saint-Tropez Pirates also have an incredibly strong team. They've got Michael Pender, and also Simon Delestre as well. So we've got some big teams here. It is the final. This is what we were expecting. We're so lucky today to have such a fight here. But let's see what the teams actually need to do.
That's
and what
the big question here.
Yeah, what do they need?
You can talk about Olivier Philipparts, you can talk about Peter Fredriksson being the champion riders that they are. What is required for them to overtake Saint-Tropez? What do they need to do? What needs to happen for them to go up?
Absolutely. Well, Stockholm Hearts, as you can see on the screen here, if they win today, then they need Saint-Tropez to come 5th in order for them to be in the top 4 spot. This is going to be very tricky for Stockholm Hearts because they actually really need Saint-Tropez not to do so well here. If they come 2nd, then they need Saint-Tropez to be coming 9th in order to be in that top 4. If they come 3rd, they need Saint-Tropez 13th, and so on, as you say, 4th and Saint-Tropez 15th. However, there's one big thing to remember, is that Stockholm Hearts must be in the top 4 for a chance to then be in the semi-final in Prague.
That's
if they're
exactly
not in
what
the
I'm
top
reading,
4,
yeah.
absolutely. If they are not in the top 4 today, there is no chance for them, because depending on where they are, 1, 2, 3 or 4, they have a chance depending on how Saint-Tropez do. They're out of the top 4. No matter what Saint-Tropez do today, they do not secure that final top 4 space going into Prague.
And conversely for them, what I'm reading in that graphic as well is that if Saint-Tropez enter the top 4, because now if Stockholm Hearts win, Saint-Tropez have to finish 5th. In other words, if Saint-Tropez finish 4th, there is nothing that Stockholm can do, correct?
Absolutely correct. It's one of these strange situations, actually, that you're kind of willing another team to do incredibly badly rather than needing to do well. Of course they need to do well, but actually it's kind of all to play for in terms of what Saint-Tropez do for Stockholm Hearts. But I was lucky enough earlier, as I said, to bump into Olivier Philipparts, and we had a bit of a chat about today, about the season as a whole. As we know, last year they were fighting for the championship at this point. This year they're fighting for 4th. So let's see what he had to say.
I think the first part of the season, up till the riders change, was a bit difficult.
Sorry to make your way into the ring.
We were a little bit short on riders, horses, and we struggled a bit around to get enough points. But then basically after the riders change, our results been quite consistent. But yeah, I think that's pretty much where we lost it a bit.
Do you think the eliminations also didn't help with that as well?
So
of course, no points is always the worst you can happen. So I mean, that made a huge difference as well. But I mean, things that happened now in the past, nothing we can do. We're just trying to go and fight for that 4th place. That's actually where we came for.
The good and positive thing is that this weekend you and Peder are back together. We know you are the strong team. You won in Stockholm, you won in London. How are you feeling ahead of the GCL today?
I'm feeling great, very good. I mean, the horses felt very good yesterday. Peder's horse did well, so I gave my horse actually a couple, pretty much 6 weeks off, and from September to now on, so they feel very fresh. So try to make the best plan possible, and we'll see if it works out.
On paper, you look like to be the strongest team between you and Saint-Tropez Pirates. How confident are you that you can get that 4th position?
I mean, on paper doesn't always mean everything, but sure, I think we came with the best team possible. I mean, if we can make sure we get that 4th spot, makes a huge difference in Prague. So I think we're really going to go for it. And then a first round, it's Peder and me, and then we have Indiana with Malin. So I mean, if we have Indiana, we should always actually use it because we're one of the best horses in the circuit. So we'll see about first round, and then we'll make a plan for a second round.
You touched on Prague there. Just how important would it be for you as a team to get into that top 4 position and not have to jump the quarterfinals?
Makes a big difference because Peder is qualified for the Vigil Grand Prix, so he wants to jump 1 round less. So if we could start 1 day later, I think it's a huge difference, yeah.
H&M Legend of Love, Catch Me Not, Olivier Philipparts and Peder Fredriksson is the selected lineup for Global Champions League Round 1 for H&M. We Love Horses. Stockholm Hearts looking to try and snatch away that top 4 spot from the Saint-Tropez Pirates and finish inside the top 4 to get them into a GCL Super Cup semi-final. We will find out if they are successful in that bid later on tonight. For now, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we shift our attention to the championship battle. Welcome back to GCTV, welcome back to the city of Riyadh, welcome back to Saudi Arabia, and welcome back to the 15th and final stage of Global Champions League 2023 as we continue to unpack pair for this big season finale. How wonderful it is from a storytelling perspective to have this big title go down to the final day. We will talk about Riesenbach International powered by Kingston. We will talk about Paris Panthers, who they have here, what is needed, and who then is the most likely of the 2 teams to go on and be crowned champions before the end of the night. That is all still to come. But first, though, we need to go through to Frederik de Backer before the course walk. I need to greet him. I need to welcome him to the 15th and final stage. Frederik de Backer inside the ring here for us, just over our shoulder in Riyadh. Frederik, good afternoon to you. The sun is out. We are getting rather warm here today. Frederik, you and I and the rest of this GCTV team have spent the entire year telling this story. And finally, we come down to a 15th and final stage, a final day. How are you feeling? It's the only question I can ask you for now before we get into the course walk. How are you feeling? Where is your mind at ahead of today's big finale?
To be very honest, I'm not feeling any different than any other stage. I'm really, really excited with the addition that this is the stage that is finally going to decide this championship story, and especially the fact that we are going to see once again for the 15th time this season the two best teams in the history of Global Champions League go head to head, lock horns, battle it out, and there's only one thing at stake now, that is the championship trophy. But it's just the fact that those two teams have been so good, better than any other team in the entire history of Global Champions League. That is what excites me, because we are going to see something epic here tonight.
Yeah, we certainly are. The lineups are out. We'll talk about that a little bit more with Rosie Tapner as well, in particular for what is required for Paris Panthers. Maybe some perspective from you, Frederick, on the lineups made by both managers. You feel that the right calls have been made? Are they the best possible solutions available to either manager on the day?
That's a very difficult question, Mark. What is the best possible solution? The news broke that Long John Silver couldn't travel, didn't travel because of the sale of Long John Silver off Juveling, couldn't travel to Riyadh. So Rob Hoekstra has his back against the wall, only has, well, two real Grand Prix horses here in Faltic HB, of course, and in Urikas. He's going to field those two horses probably over both rounds. He has not got any other options. And then if you look at the rivals at Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland, well, they also had to make a little bit of a change. No Christian Koekkoek in the lineup. They stayed away from Koekkoek. They bring Philipp Weishaupt in for round 1 with Zinedine, and that is, of course, a horse that has jumped 5 out of 5 clears so far this season. Owen McMahon also in with Milan. McMahon didn't jump yesterday. We're seeing all different constellations, different preparations, unforeseen circumstances in the build-up to this first round of Global Champions League, Mark.
Oh, it is going to be absolutely brilliant. Well, Frederick Tabaka, whilst you are inside the middle of the ring, let's talk about what has been designed for these riders. Take us through what is available for us today here in the course walk.
Well, this is probably the first real test that we are on. It is the Global Champions League double combination vertical oxer, and then it is a straight line down the other side on a related distance. Oh, there's a lot of traffic here. Feels like we're somewhere at an airport. That way we go. Other side. We turn, we turn, we turn. There you are, Mark. I was waiting for you. Here we go. This is fence number 6 now. It's on a 5-stride approach, and in fairness, depending on how you jump out, it feels... Hello there, buddy. How are you? It feels like a standard 5 strides up to the Prague playoffs. And if you don't know it by now, 16th to the 19th, I believe that Sunday and Saturday are sold out. I have to say it with a little bit of carefulness, but I do believe that we are sold out on the final day of Global Champions League and on the day of the launching Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix. But GC Playoffs is the one to go to in Prague in just 3 weeks' time, so make sure you're there with us. And now, this is something that we don't see very often in Global Champions League round 1 courses. There was already a turn from 4 to 5 that had an inside turn, and here again from 6 to 7 you have to turn, in my opinion at least, you have to turn in front of fence 12 and make sure that you get your approach to the jump Saudi Oxer right there well. You get it nice and well balanced. Now there's a few issues that you have to think about when you make that inside turn. If this is your widest point of your turn, what is that? Not the apex, but the widest point of your turn here in front of fence 12. You risk. No, we have to go that way, other way. You risk that you're going to jump Saudi here, fence 7, slightly on the angle, and that is not what you want. So it was some of the riders that said, no, you don't have to turn really in front of fence 12. You can curve a little bit more and try to jump Saudi slightly straight, at least straight, or even slightly on the angle, so you can get a good shot into the double of verticals that comes after this quite bulky oxer. You see there's a filler here underneath at Savoy. We also have that at fence 4. That's something also you don't see very often in show jumping these days, but we do have it here inside. It's a bit of ground line, so those are some fairly safe fences. And this is the line that we are talking about, the line from this very skinny oxer. It's not too wide, and then in the approach to a double of verticals, we'll let Abdel Said pass, and I will follow in his track. So if you jump straight through the middle and you follow Abdel Said's line, we'll just ask him. Abdel, I'm right behind you, so don't be surprised, but I have to ask you, how did you walk this?
Honestly, I think it's going to be a little bit direct because of the rollback and the skinny oxer. I think they're going to back up. You won't have a big jump. and you want to come here and balance. So I think it's a little bit direct, even on a big horse.
It's always an inside turn after 6, no?
I think for the most, yes. I think some will go around, but I think 80% will probably go inside, yes.
In saying that, after 4 to 5, is it also inside for you?
I think so. I think it's a nice turn to do, keeping the time in mind, and also it will help balance the horses in the combination. I think if you go around, you have to really think, I need to slow them down again. I think it's a nice turn to do to help the combination and the time allowed.
Super, let you go. That is Abdel Said, Istanbul Warriors, powered by Carpe Diem. They have got the chance, well, obviously, to produce their best ever performance in a championship stage, championship season even. They are currently, or they have the possibility to jump inside the top 8 if everything goes right for them here. But about that last line, it is about making that inside turn really stable, really well balanced. If you jump to the outside, the 7 will get long into a tight double of verticals. And what Abdel Said already said, we spoke about 2 inside turns already. There's a 3rd inside turn coming up just as well. So with 3 inside turns, if you would miss them, one would think that the time allowed, if Vezzani builds all those inside turns, that Vezzani would keep the time allowed tighter than normal, and maybe already, and that's going to be smart if it's the case from Vezzani, to make the time allowed in round 1 already tight, Mark, so the pressure is on straight from round 1.
If ever there was pressure, here it is tonight. Frederik de Backer, thank you very much for that. We look forward to seeing how these riders then go on and deal with what Uliana Vezzani has put together. And as we get ready for this big championship battle, let's remind you exactly why we are all here today. Versus Paris Panthers, and ironically just over my right hand shoulder here, just a few moments ago, a Riesebeck International huddle. Owen McMahon, Philip Weissau, Christian Kukoc, all huddling around Ludger Beerbaum, giving out final directions, giving out final orders on how they are going to tackle this course and make sure that they simply need to do what they need to do to get ahead of Paris Panthers. But there is no separating these two teams. Riesebeck International, 9 podiums, 5 wins. The 2022 champions is the Berlin Eagles, 34 clears and 2.2 penalties per round. Paris Panthers, 9 podiums, 3 wins, 3rd in 2021, 31 clears and 1.9 penalties per round. It is absolute margins that has separated these two juggernauts of the 2023 season. Let's remind you of this battle between Riesebeck International and Paris Panthers.
Riesebeck International, brilliant clear. Riesebeck International claiming the lead in the championship.
Here they come, 2nd win of the season, does it again. It is 2 out of 3 for Riesebeck International. There is your feeling. It is Paris Panthers winning. Paris Panthers, as this is a lightning fast round from that mare. The lead is coming their way. Riesebeck International take the lead here. That is 3 wins now for Riesebeck. That is the championship lead. It is yet another clear. And here comes Weissau. It is a victory for Riesebeck International. Here comes Cooper. There you go. 5th win of the season. Harris Mulders, it is podium number 6 for Paris Panthers. With the pressure mounting now, it is a double clear. Paris Panthers that close in on Riesebeck on the championship standings. Riesebeck International. Paris Panthers.
Stage victories, podiums collected. It has been a record-breaking season for both of these teams. And at the end of tonight, one of these teams is going to be left incredibly disappointed to perform the way they have all season long, only to fall 1 step short of glory and get their hands on that Global Champions League trophy. We caught up with the managers. It's crucial to find out what was going through their mind in the build-up to today and in the execution of their lineups today. And perhaps most importantly, was there a big impact? Was there a a big role to play with the draw. Paris Panthers starting very early today. They are 3rd out the gate. Riesenbach International 15th out the gate. We caught up with Rob Hoekstra. Does the starting lineup play a big impact? We asked Rob.
Not a massive difference, I think, for the first round. We're going to do our own round first. You need to try and get 2 clears on the board. And then in the second round, we'll see what we can do time-wise. We'll know where everybody is by then.
Is there any disadvantage at all to going so early in round 1? Would you have preferred to have gone later, or does it really make no difference to you?
No, not really. I mean, there's quite a few individuals that go first. The only thing would be the time allowed, that we make sure that we're inside the time allowed. See which turns we got to make. I mean, we make our own plan for the course. I mean, it's very unlikely that we're going to change the plan. We know the horses so well, and the 2 guys that are riding tomorrow know their horses inside out. So I'm not concerned with that.
News has broken this week that Long John Silver is no longer with Jur Freeling. I would imagine he would have originally have been part of some planning. Give us your reaction firstly to that news, and if at all, what kind of impact does that have then on you when you're planning for the team?
Obviously it's a loss. I mean, he's a world-class horse. We would have loved to have had him here because he's a great horse to use in one of the rounds. But at the same time, we're very happy with SF question that we had use of the horse for so long. I can understand their thinking for next year's Olympic Games. It's a disappointment for us, but we're super happy to have him in the team for all that time. We're going with Harry Smulders with Urikas, and Ben Meyer's going to ride Faltic.
Many would think that the pressure's not on you, Rob. You've been chasing for a large part of the season. A victory and a championship would be a wonderful outcome. Are you standing behind the viewpoint that there's no pressure on you at all, regardless of how this plays out?
No, I mean, if you look a few weeks ago, we would have been super happy to be second. I mean, now we actually have an opportunity to win. The pressure is all on Riesenbach, really, because they've been first since, I can't remember when, but a long time ago anyway. So if they were to lose it, that would be an upset for them. For sure, we have a real go tomorrow, but we're second in any case. So the pressure is really on them. I mean, we'd love to be champions. I mean, we've had a great season. We've had one bad show in Stockholm. If we hadn't had that show, we probably would have been in a slightly different position right now. But that's what's happened. So we're happy. We've been on the podium lots of times. The guys have ridden great. Their record is really good. I mean, if we can be on the podium tomorrow and ahead of Riesenbach, we win.
Always so wonderful to spend some time with Rob Hoekstra, to get inside his mind. Once again joined by Rosie in the studio with us. And isn't perspective a funny old thing? Because there, Rob is very quick to admit to us that a couple of weeks ago they would have been delighted with second place because Riesenbach was so far ahead. Perspective has changed that, though. There is no way they will be satisfied tonight because they have quite amazingly turned this into a final day battle, Rosie.
Yeah, absolutely, with only 3 points in it as well, which is so close and also incredibly painful when you then lose it, because only 3 points is just such a small margin. But this is sport, and I remember we were all saying in Rome, this is the showdown that we wanted. And Riesenbach and Rome, anything can happen. They came 14th in Rome, and we were expecting them really to finish the season and probably be crowned in Rome, but that didn't happen. We've got the showdown in Riyadh that we wanted, but we also need to have a look at what Paris actually need to do in order to win this. So let's have a little look at what Paris actually need to do.
Because much like Stockholm, there are implications here, right? There are things that need to take place. Let's talk about this. What do Paris have to do to take this away from the hands of Riesenbach?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's start with, if Paris win tonight, they have won. If Riesenbach International win tonight, they have won.
Let's stop right there. If either wins tonight,
that is championship over.
Right.
That's enough. That's the simplest
call
thing that we can look at. Let's look at if they come second, because then it gets slightly complicated. If Paris Panthers come second, then Riesenbach International need to not win in order for Paris Panthers to take that championship. However, if Paris come third, then Riesenbach International must come fifth in order for Paris to work. And this keeps dropping down. Fourth, then Riesenbach must be seventh. Fifth, Riesenbach International must have at least 3 teams below them. This is all to play for. Let's not forget what Rob said. They have lost Long John Silver this week.
Yes.
Is that going to affect Paris Panthers? We don't know, because then if you look back to Rome, Riesenbach International, what happened there? We don't know. It's sport. It's horses. We don't know what's going to happen. I think maybe the downfall here is for Harry Smulders having to jump two rounds, because that's not what he would normally do.
Well, there's an upside to that as well, right? He would not have wanted to jump all the rounds with the LGCT ambitions he has tomorrow, but from a GCL perspective, oh no, I have to pick Harry Smulders to jump both rounds today. It's a good outcome for the Paris Panthers, and maybe not the desired outcome for Harry as an individual, but from a team point of view, if you get to jump Harry Smulders and an LGCT champion in your ranks, it's a wonderful decision for Rob Hoekstra to be forced to make. Again, the big question now, when we take this all on the notion that the Paris Panthers will finish above Razorback International, all of that can be thrown out the window. If in any degree Razorback International finish above the Paris Panthers, then all of those factors become null and void. So we caught up with Ludger Beerdebam, the manager, the big guy behind the success of Razorback International. We spoke to him about that starting lineup as well and how the team's been feeling building up to today.
It's for sure not a disadvantage, no doubt about it, but in the end it just matters really the order of go in the second round, and that depends on the result of the first round. In the first round is more that everyone of course tries to jump clear. In the second round then the order matters more, because then it's also about the penalties and the time. Whoever does better in the first round has then the better draw in the second round, which is probably more the deciding factor. But of course it's not, as I said, not a disadvantage. In terms of the preparation, it's been like for sure, and not just the last week, 2 weeks. Of course, we were aware of this. We had a bit of a break from the last leg, knowing that we want 2-3 horses really fresh and hopefully in good shape coming here. So the planning took a bit longer, and what you said, the preparation, than just the last few days or weeks. There's a bit of pressure on now since after Rome. We've lost quite a bit of a margin to the second one, to Paris. But nevertheless, we have dealt with the pressure so far pretty well. But also that means nothing. We know that, I would say, about 50-50 who's going to win the overall tomorrow or not. And if you look at the whole season, I think there's no doubt that over the whole season, from leg 1 Doha, we were the dominating team. Without a question, most of the time between 20 and 30 points ahead of everyone. I think no one has won more legs than we did. So I think that says a lot. But finally, it will be decided here in Riyadh.
It's very difficult to argue with Ludger Beerdebam when he makes the statement that we have been the dominant team throughout the 2023 season. Yes, over the last few stages there have been some stumbles, they have made it exciting for the fans, but his point is to a very large degree accurate. Let's quickly close here. Rosie, who do they bring? Who jumps for Razorback today? What can we expect from them?
Yeah, in the first round we've got Owen McMahon with Mila, who used to be Ludger's horse. So they're a relatively new combination, but as you were telling me, they've been jumping really brilliantly, so they're really happy with that combination. Alongside them, they've got an outstanding combination with Philip Weisout. They've got Zinedine, who have been jumping so well together all season. It's a fantastic combination. Let's not forget either Paris Panthers or Riesenbeck International, any other season, they would have crowned champions months ago.
Exactly.
5 times over. And also, I wonder, him saying there, Ludger saying that both teams, they've been dominating all season, like he said, it is pretty much right. But surely it's quite fun and competitive to have another team just as good to join. I think it makes each team better, it makes each team more competitive.
And it makes it more exciting for us.
And it's a great sport, and
if
I'm looking forward to this so much.
If there was no Riesenbeck or no Paris this year, it would have been a very one-sided affair. So we are delighted that these two teams have gone head-to-head with one another to turn it into this championship battle that we've witnessed thus far.
Yeah, we've been absolutely spoilt all season. It's been a privilege to be here and watch, and actually to be here in Riyadh and bringing you guys the last final stage. And hopefully what we're going to see out there is just the most spectacular jumping, the most spectacular sport, the competitive between both teams. I mean, what more do you want?
Right, Rosie, thank you for your time. You'll be catching up with a lot of the riders throughout the rest of the round. We get ready to close and say goodnight for now as we get ready to head into the Riyadh ring. Get ready for Global Champions League round 1 and to finally start the clock on this final day showdown between Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland, and the Paris Panthers, who will be crowned champions for 2023. We'll find out by the end of the night. We see you next for Global Champions League round 1.